Hi, I'm Mike from Scoutadelic, and how can you do circles of my sub-identities? Find out. Hi, I'm Mike from Scoutadelic. So, like and subscribe if you want to spice up your scouting this year. Today I'm going to do a really fun activity that is in the Dialogue of Peace booklet, and it's called Circles of My Sub-Identity. So every single person has different attributes that they can relate to and how they identify themselves. So we identify with what is the most important dimensions of our own identity, and part of that can also include stereotypes that we all come across no matter who we are or no matter what we do. So this is a really cool way that scouts can obviously share their stories about when they were also proud of being in a certain part of a group or an identity, but also parts that were hurtful to them as well. Now remember, in all dialogues it is a safe space, and some people will be happy to open up, others not so much. So the idea is that you move into pairs. So they go into pairs that maybe they don't know. So it's possibly good if you've started a new group, or if you want to mix things up. So say you've always had them in certain groups, so mix them up so they're going into different patrols or things like that. So what they need is a blank sheet of paper each, and they need one circle in the middle, and then 5 circles orbiting that, like that. Okay, and they all go towards that main point in the middle, like so. And then in the middle they're going to put their name, and then on the outside and in the 5 different boxes, so they're going to put a dimension of their identity. So that could be male or female, it could be their nationality, it could be the language that they speak, the culture, the religion, it could be if they've got any brothers or sisters, it could be their education, anything that shapes them to who they are at this moment in time. So who is Mike, basically. So they want to do that in pairs, and then each of them is going to share 2 stories, one of a positive nature about one of the identities, and one that was painful for them. And then they're gonna, in their groups, so they're going to talk about a stereotype that is part of one of their identities, and then answer this statement, which is, I am a blank, I'm not a blank. And I'll show you. Give them around about, each pair, give them about 8 to 10 minutes to do that together, and then they're all going to come together and they're going to have an open dialogue. So here is me. So Scout, obvious, don't know, yeah. Male, gay, British, and open university degree. Okay, so that shapes me, that is me in a nutshell. There's obviously more identities, trust me on that, but these are kind of some main factors for me. So one of the positive factors is definitely going to be male. Okay, as a man I probably can get better jobs than some women, because of my gender, because of obviously my skin tone as well, and that gives me a bit of privilege that unfortunately other people don't have, and that's something that I can't change. It was something I was born into, and I know of that. I know that there are a lot of women who probably can do stuff that I can't do, but they have to do a lot more to get to a certain level, and it's not fair, it's not right, but that unfortunately is part of something that I have that they don't, and it's not fair. So I don't know whether that's classed as positive or negative. For me it's negative, because I think that everyone should be equal, but yeah, the world that we live in is unfortunately not. And that takes me on to the other one, which is me being gay. So I've talked about this before briefly in videos, but when I was in scouting and I was openly gay, I got told very hardly to keep that hidden away and not not promote it as much as I should, because, well, you know, there was lots of stereotypes about, well, gay men working with children, must be something wrong there. And it's not, okay? That's a stereotype that is absolutely untrue, but that's unfortunately what I have to deal with. I've had that at many different levels, both in the UK, abroad, online. So when I do promote LGBT stuff and my LGBT badge on, you know, like Pride months, the amount of negative comments versus positive comments, it has been quite harsh. In the first year that I did that, it was painful to think that these people are Scout leaders, but that unfortunately is a stereotype and also how people have been brought up, and yeah, so that's a negative that really upset me at some points. Didn't break me, I'm still okay, but yeah, that's unfortunately something, again, I can't change because it's part of me. So yeah, so that's my positives and my negative one. And another one, which was obviously the statement. So my statement would be, I'm a scout, but I have hobbies outside of scouting. Which most people think if you're a scout, well, you're obsessed. And yes, I do have a YouTube channel. Yes, I do most of this every day. I message people, I comment, I promote and do all this. But I do read books that aren't scouting. I do watch films, I've got tons of them. I do go out to like sort of places to eat, for restaurants, and yes, I do have a social life even though I am a scout. And I do my 2 hours a week or more. And that's another stereotype for you. But yeah, I'm a scout and I have a social life. So once they've all done the 8 to 10 minutes worth, then they all gather together. So what they want to do is they want to discuss the reactions to the other person's stories. But remember, this is a safe space, so make sure that the other person is all right with them discussing their story. All right. So it could be that I never knew that was something that person got a negative response about. It could be all these types of things, but remember, it's a safe space. Everyone is allowed to speak, basically. And then once you've obviously done that, and remember, there are going to be some people who don't really want to do that, want to shy away from it. That's again perfectly fine. Then you want them to stand up and talk about their stereotype statement. So, I'm a scout and I have a social life. Then at the end, once you've obviously done all of that, then maybe there's some questions that you want to process this. Has anyone challenged a stereotype that you thought was true? And if so, what happened? And did you actually change your mind from it? Another question could be, how did it feel to be able to have your own stereotype challenged? Where do stereotypes actually come from? And how can we eliminate them? This is a great activity that Scouts can do that allows them to look at stereotypes and how we apply them to people. Even if we don't even know them, we automatically go, oh well, they're this, so they must do this. And we get that a lot, especially with how diverse the UK and also the world is. There's so many stereotypes with people from all the generations or things on the news. All these roll into and snowball into a bigger effect. And then also, how can we eliminate it so we're not judging people? Because remember, whatever happens is a safe space and it's non-biased, but also, as a leader like me, open up. You'll find, and I always found that Scouts will actually get engaged if they think the leader is also quite willing to open up as well. Remember to listen and understand. That's what it's all about. And if you need more guidance about how to do a dialogue, well, there's a video on the channel as well. If you like this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon for another one of these. Bye!